Live, going live, and you are looking live at Sold Out Giants Stadium, where today the 15-0 New York Giants will be taking on the 0-15 Dallas Cowboys. Why Dallas Cowboys 0-15? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? From the bottom of my heart, I greatly appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Or anybody's going to spend a little bit of time watching the replay of this, once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys absolutely freaking rock. Going to go about 30 minutes here, as I try to every night. Anybody got anything to say at all, just throw it in the chat box. I'll check up on it every so often to see if anybody puts anything in there at all. But got a few different things going over here. First thing, one thing I always, and I hate it when they're right. You know what I mean? It's like the Giants always had, had the, we went to the playoffs in 2016, but then after that, the following season with Ben McAdoo, and he got his hair all slicked back, and the Giants just were absolutely horrible, and they fired him, right? And then, Steve Spagnuolo came in, tried to do a decent job. I mean, he did a decent job. The final 4 games, I believe it was. I think he was in there as the interim coach, right? And then then you bring Pat Shermer in. He lasts two horrible seasons, and then we got Joe Judge in for he has a couple horrible seasons. We bring Dave Gettleman in, and he's horrible, and the Giants are just horrible. After a while, you really start getting a little ticked off, obviously because, you're a fan and, everybody's picking on you and you stink and it's like a revolving, it's over and over and over. You got guys on the team, then they bring a new coach in because the coach before that stunk. So then the new coach doesn't want these guys on his team. So he gets rid of all of those guys. Okay. So he brings in his guys. 2 years later, that guy's gone. Bring a new coach in. It's like, well, I don't want these guys. Gets rid of all of those guys. Brings in some. It's just like it's horrible. I mean, absolutely horrible. So you just I don't know, get a little ticked off sometimes. Especially when maybe we can pick on our own guys because they're our guys, all right? But if you got somebody else talking smack about you, I got a problem with that. And the one I always remember is Louis Riddick. Okay. But I wanted to bring up the Andrew Thomas. It's only 2 games. Only 2 games. I get it. You know what I mean? But Andrew Thomas is the highest ranked, offensive lineman, highest graded by PFF. Okay. It's just PFF. That's all I'm going by here. Okay. But he's the highest ranked offensive lineman, period. Out of all offensive linemen, centers, guards, right? Only after 2 games. I get it. He could be number 76 after the season's over, but I'm just saying after 2 games. Now, we've gone up against 2 very good defensive fronts. The Titans and the Panthers, tell you what, their front, you got to give them a lot of credit. Very good, okay? So it's not like we played, St. Mary's School of the Blind, okay? We played 2 very good defensive fronts. And it's going to continue with the Cowboys because the Cowboys can put on some pressure. Okay. Joe Burrow. God, they were all over that guy. Pressure after pressure after pressure. Right. But after 2 weeks, okay. He's number 1. All right. And I remember Louis Riddick. It was probably the year. All right. Because Andrew Thomas, he had problems with his ankles, his feet. Right. He was having problems. He had to have some surgery and all. Right. And I remember, I think it was after it was during the season, I guess, maybe somewhere along the line, Giants might've been on a game and Louis Riddick was doing it. And I remember him talking about it. This was also after Louis Riddick was tried to get the GM job. Him and Gettleman went for it and Gettleman wound up getting it. Okay. And Louis Riddick, didn't. So I don't know if there's any sour grapes there involved or whatever, but I remember, Louis Riddick talking on, I don't remember what game it was that the Giants were playing, but somewhere along the line, the broadcast, Louis Riddick brought up by Andrew Thomas. I guess he was struggling that night. And, he talked about, let me go over here. We got the 2020 draft here. All right, so we got Andrew Thomas. Okay, we got the Fab Four. These are the guys, all right, that Andrew Thomas is going to be tied with forever. And that is either another guy, Austin Jackson from Miami, but he was drafted with number 18. So, but the Fab Four. All right, you're going to have Mekhi Becton, okay, Andrew Thomas, Jedrick Wills, okay, and Tristan Wirfs. All right, the Fab Four, they'll be tied forever, all right, for all eternity, those guys. And the biggest thing is, of course, it was on the Giants, okay? Of course, they could have drafted Justin Herbert, why would we want him? But anyway, it was the Giants. The Giants drew first blood, okay? They went first, okay? So you can't really knock Tampa Bay for taking Tristan Wirfs because he was the fourth guy. He was the last one left over, right? Tampa couldn't take Andrew Thomas. They couldn't take Mekhi Becton, because they were gone already. So it was up to the Giants. The Giants went first, all right? So if the Giants picked and they picked wrong, okay, and it certainly looked like they picked wrong, all right, the first year. Andrew Thomas was having struggles, but I said, I remember he had problems with his ankles and his feet. I'll tell you what, you try to pass protect or run block in the NFL against some of these absolute freak of nature athletes, okay, with problems with your ankles and your feet, yeah, good luck, buddy, okay? So Andrew Thomas had his lumps, right, without question. But his second year got a little bit better, okay, and this year it's starting to pay off. I said, remember he had like some type of procedure or surgery with either his ankle or his feet or whatever. I think to clear out some bone or something in his feet, to help him, right? And it really seems like it's paying off big time, okay? But Jedrick Wills with Cleveland, my God, he's not even in the top 100 this year. It's only 2 games. I get it. We've got a long way to go, okay? And this is just PFF and all that stuff, all right? But then at Mekhi Becton, your best ability is your availability. And Mekhi Becton, availability, let's go over here if I can find it. Is that him? Nope. There you go. Mekhi Becton, all right. He suffered a kneecap fracture. Could have missed the whole season. Last year, he suffered a knee injury in week 1, and he sent him to the injury reserve and ended his campaign. He had 48 snaps last year, okay? No snaps this year because of a fractured kneecap, okay? And he had apparently a chest, tackling battle through a chest injury in his rookie season, okay? So, between 2021 and 2022, Mekhi Becton has had a grand total of 48 snaps. Okay, so not good. All right, now whether it's bad luck or whatever, okay, 48 snaps. All right, but then you got, all right, so we got Jedrick Wills from Cleveland. Okay, I went on PFF. Okay, and I'm looking at the blocking grades. Okay, and I looked at the top 100. Okay, and he's not even on there. So then I had to go to him individually, Jedrick Wills. Okay, now remember, this is the guy that was, morons like Louis Riddick and all, were saying, oh, my God, this guy's better than Andrew Thomas. Why the Giants didn't pick him? My God, this guy's, oh, my God. Oh, well, Jedrick Wills, after just 2 games, I get it. Okay. But, even his rookie season, he graded out a 62, right? Last year, he got a little better. He went up to a 66, okay? This year, he's graded out a 53, okay? His run blocking is a 49.8. Run blocking, 49.8. All right, let's go to Andrew Thomas here. Andrew Thomas, run blocking, 88.3. 88.3. Jedrick Wills, 49. All right, so he's almost 40 points higher on his run blocking. 40, not 4, not 14, 40, okay? Now, this is for the number 10 overall pick okay, in the draft. Looks like the guy's getting worse. I don't know how. It's only 2 weeks, too. End of the season, the guy, he's at 53 right now. He could be a 73 without question. I'm not doubting that, but I'm just saying right now. Okay. He's graded overall at a 53. Okay. And Andrew Thomas is an 89, right? Andrew Thomas is 36 points higher than him just after 2 games, right? But, okay, then we got this other guy, Tristan Wirfs, okay, who is a right tackle, okay, not a left tackle. He's a right tackle, okay. Similar, yes. Different, yes. Okay, different, all right. So it's not the same, all right. But Tristan Wirfs, okay, he's Tristan. I'm looking at the top 100 offensive linemen here, okay. There is one guy on top of Andrew Thomas, Quinn Miners from Denver. He's a guard, but he's only played 18 snaps, so I ain't even counting that guy, okay. So if you go down, Tristan Wirfs is number 24. Actually, it'd be 23 if you take away this one guy, Quinn Miners from Denver, right? So he's number 23. Okay. He's graded out of 75.4. Andrew Thomas, 89.1. Andrew Thomas is about 14 points higher. Okay. So, I'm just saying as of right now. Okay. As I said, Andrew Thomas is going to be connected with these 3 other guys for all eternity. Okay. And the Giants made the wrong choice. Okay. Obviously all the naysayers and everybody, the negative Nancy's and all of that, right? We'll be looking back at, Giants should have drafted Quentin Nelson. They drafted Saquon Barkley. Giants took Andrew Thomas. Well, they could have had, Tristan Wirfs or something. Right? The Giants took Daniel Jones. They should have took so-and-so. You know what I mean? So all the negative Nancy's would be looking back, and the one pick with Andrew Thomas, they would always be looking back at him, okay? But, as of right now, okay, Andrew Thomas, 88.3 run blocking grade is 3rd among tackles thus far. His 82.8 pass blocking grade is 5th among tackles with at least 10 pass blocking attempts. Thomas has given up 4 pressures and 77 pass blocking snaps, okay? Thomas, the 3rd-year tackle, taken number 4 overall by the Giants in 2020. Now you got to give Gettleman a little credit where credit's due. I know we all love to hate the guy, right? But all right, got to give him a little credit there. He traded with the Bears. We got Kadarius Toney, but we also got an additional 1st-round pick. All right. Got to give Gettleman a little credit there. We got to give credit where credit's due. He took Andrew Thomas. Okay. Rashawn Slater is number 2 at 83.4. Okay. Rashawn Slater is pretty good. All right. But Andrew Thomas, right? 89 so far. But 89. You're getting to elite level. You're getting up to around a 90. Whoo. Only 2 games, I get it. But 89. Rashawn Slater's number 2 is 6 points behind him. Okay. So it says here for Thomas, it appears that his climb toward becoming an elite player is continuing. Yep. And hopefully he's only going to get better. Now he's got to stay healthy. The feet and the ankle. My God. He can't get rolled up on like Leonard Williams did and hurt his knee or anything like, so health is huge, absolutely huge. But, the dude's a freaking professional. And one thing I love is that you got him, Evan Neal struggling a little bit. Okay. But you got the 2 of them in there. We should all turn in our New York Giants jerseys, turn in our season tickets. Nobody should ever show up to another Giant football game ever again, if the Giants do not re-sign Andrew Thomas, period. Okay. So what that means is that now you're going to have Evan Neal, okay, growing up or whatever however you want with Andrew Thomas there. Okay. Andrew's going to make Evan better. Okay. Andrew's got his pregame ritual and how he acts and what he does and all, and that's only going to help Evan Neal out. And you give Evan Neal his, by the end of the season, could be a lot different than what it is right now. next season can be a whole heck of a lot better than it is right now. Because Evans doing some struggling, okay? But, he's a professional's professional, and, having Andrew Thomas there as well is only going to help him. And you give, like, next year or whatever, as long as they can stay healthy once again, we're going to have some good bookends without question, all right? So, last season, it was good. It said right here, he finished 17th, okay? Which is a lot better than what he did. I don't remember what he finished 2 years ago. Phew. But, he finished 17th among 54 qualifying tackles, okay, according to PFF. Okay, that's all I'm saying. All right. And once again, it has in this article here. Thomas is always compared to the other three offensive tackles the Giants could have selected with their 4th overall pick. So it was up to the Giants, all right? They said, they right? They picked the guy. They picked wrong. Shame on them. All right. It is clear now that there are 2 tiers in that group. Thomas and Wirfs are in the top tier. Okay. Jedrick Wills and Mekhi Becton are in the 2nd tier. Yeah, because Jedrick Wills isn't even in the top 100. I don't know what the hell happened to him. But then Mekhi Becton, he's not even. He's played 48 snaps in 2 years. Okay, so injuries are really ruining him. Okay. So, and Bobby Johnson says, I don't take Andrew for granted. When you have a player of his caliber, you can't take it for granted. I see all the stuff he does leading up to a game. I see all the preparation, all the questions, all the work he puts in. The work is certainly paying off. And it's the same thing with, having him and Evan Neal around each other. It's only going to make each other better. Okay. And, we got the tackles right. Okay. We got to start working on the inside 3. Okay. I don't know, if Lemieux's going to come back, if he'll be much better than what Bredesen's been or Glowinski's been. I don't know if we're going to be sitting Glowinski down. We signed him to a couple-year deal, but it'll be interesting to see what comes back when Lemieux comes back, because he has to miss at least the first 4 games. All right, so and hopefully with his toe, which could, if something like that could linger all season, so we'll have to want to wait and see. But we'll have to wait. Maybe next year we might get Gates back. All right, it would be nice. And then we got Lemieux. Okay, so keep an eye on those guys. It'll be interesting to see what the Giants do next year, like maybe as far as free agency or in the draft, that they're going to try to maybe address the inside of the offensive line. Maybe again. We'll have to wind up waiting to see. All right, then we got report Kenny Golladay. Huh? Yeah. Weird situation there, right? Now, I guess he cleared his locker out. All right. Golladay, in the 2nd year of his 4-year, $72 million contract, played only 2 snaps on Sunday. 2 snaps. Holy cow. And Pro Football Network report on Tuesday that don't think he can help them right now. And that head coach Brian Daboll has been FaceTiming with free agent wide receivers. Yipper. The Giants are running a meritocracy per a league source. There is nothing promised to any player, especially ones that are holdovers from the Dave Gettleman, Joe Judge era. That's why you get David Sills in there, right? Yeah. Under new coach Brian Daboll and general manager Joe Schoen, they simply are trying to play the players they feel will give the team the best chance to win right now. And their actions speak volumes about Golladay. They don't think he can help them right now, hence why he isn't playing more. It's a bad contract, and they inherited Kenny, a league source said. Brian and Joe aren't going to just play a guy because he makes a lot of money. He's not their guy. So look for him to be gone after this season's over. They'll save, if I remember correctly, about, I think it's going to have about a $14 million dead cap hit next year. But they'll save themselves about $7 million, okay, toward the cap. So, but look for him to be gone after this season without question. That's why you got Richie James out there. Richie James has been proving himself. Not only Richie James proves himself, but Kenny Golladay, he's not doing nothing on special teams. Richie James does. Okay. Let's see. And we got Julian Love said told the fan, he said the Golladay situation is weird. He said it's a tough situation. Brian Daboll, as soon as he got into the building, he said that we'll operate on a week-to-week basis, kind of like what you can bring to the table each week, Love said. In terms of roles, I was lining up at linebacker most of the week. So our inside linebackers, their snap count went way down significantly. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Nothing went wrong. It's just how it goes. That's how it is on the offense, too. They saw something in Sills. He had some good plays in the game. It fluctuates. So we'll see how this week goes in terms of Kenny. So if they think somehow that they think Kenny Golladay can go out there and then do better against the Cowboys, he'll get more plays, right? We look at what Kadarius Toney did against the Cowboys last year in Dallas before he got thrown out of the game. He had 10 receptions, right? So we, obviously the offenses are different, but we know Kadarius Toney can get open against the Cowboys defense, right? Don't know if that's going to happen. The offenses are different now and everything, but you don't know how much he's going to wind up playing. But, if they think that Kenny Golladay, they could put him in and he can actually help him out, right? I'm sure they'll want to put him in there, hopefully more than 2 snaps. But apparently, he went in and I guess he cleared out his, he got in after the game was over. And Golladay signed his deal with the Giants during the 2021 season, emptied his locker and was not present for post-game media interviews after a 15-minute cooling off period. The New York Giant Post Ryan Dunleavy reported. So it's not like he cleared his locker out and he left and, he's not coming back or anything like that. But, he just did it. I wouldn't want to listen to it either. Just to be honest with you. You're making $18 million a season on average. You go in and you play 2 snaps, okay, the whole game. Of course, people are going to be peppering you about questions like that. I wouldn't want to answer them either. You know what I mean? So I guess that's why he just went in. I don't know if he showered or whatever, but went in, cleared his stuff, whatever, and took off. So before anybody can ask him any questions. Now, the wide receivers cap hit for 2022 is $21 million, something that makes Golladay less attractive to other teams if a possible trade situation were to arise. Yeah, because even if it's like, okay, we'll give you Kenny Golladay, right? You give us a 7th round pick, just throwing a number out there, right? But then they would have to also wind up being, okay, we'll eat up some of his salary as well. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, any team was going to pay him, would want him on their team. And actually, he wouldn't be worth, they wouldn't owe him $21 million now because a couple of games have been played. But I don't know anybody who's going to want to pay him. That's, not quite $1.5 million a game, but it's over $1 million a game. That's a heck of a lot of money to pay that guy. So I don't know if anybody's going to wind up, want to make any type of trade for him. Same thing with Darius Slayton as well. And it said, not helping matters is Galladay's lack of production on the field this season. So basically, we got 2 games. He's making $18 million a year on average. 2 games, 2 receptions. I think it's 22 yards. I think it was. Right? Week 2, 0 targets, 0 receptions. Man wants to help the team. Wants to play. Obviously. Right? He's making all this money, and I would be frustrated like him too. But I guess he's just not. It seems like, they want Sills in there. They want Wan'Dale Robinson, right? Sterling Shepard, Richie James, Kadarius Toney. That's why you don't see Darius Slayton in there a whole lot. Maybe you don't see Kenny Golladay. I guess they want smaller guys that can, work their way, and get open, catch the ball and do stuff with it afterwards. I guess what they're trying to do right now, instead of, I don't know if it's trying to help Daniel Jones out, to help the pass blocking out, but just try to get some quick routes or something where Daniel Jones, can find an open receiver, dump it off to him, let Sterling Shepard catch it, let him wiggle his way for an extra 2 or 3, 4 yards or whatever, or let Kadarius Toney work his magic and try to pick up an extra 5 or 6, 7 yards or whatever. I don't think they want to seem to have Daniel Jones maybe try to stand in the pocket and wait for Kenny Golladay to run down the field, So that's the kind of stuff you'll never know. Some of that stuff you'll never find out. But I can understand Kenny Golladay, without question, being all frustrated and everything, not wanting to talk to anybody. I wouldn't want to talk to anybody either after the game was over. But then we got finally, one thing is you got Brian Daboll, coach, has been FaceTiming free agent wide receivers. Okay. New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll has not been coy about the team's wide receivers and the week-to-week competition for playing time, right? Whether it's the highest paid player, the lowest paid player, the highest draft pick, and undrafted free agent, we're going to go out there and let the guys compete it out, Daboll told reporters on Monday. 1 week doesn't necessarily mean that this is what's going to happen the next week. I think everybody understands that we are trying to do it as an organization in terms of continuing to get better, competing for spots, working as hard as you can work. So, I like that. Right? In week 1, Kadarius Toney drew the short straw and saw just 7 snaps. Week 2, that role was served by Kenny Golladay, the team's highest paid player, wide receiver, who took just 7 snaps. Meanwhile, other receivers like David Sills had seen his increased playing time. This has been Daboll's approach dating back to a training camp, and it doesn't appear likely to change. How that's interpreted is up for the debate. Daboll insists it's because the group is deep, talented, and competitive. Others believe it's because the Giants lack quality depth at the position outside of its select few. While Daboll would never publicly admit to the latter, what he's doing in private seems to support that theory. Aaron Wilson of Pro Football Network reports that Daboll has been busy FaceTiming free agent wide receivers and weighing his options. Daboll has been FaceTiming with free agent wide receivers, according to a league source. League sources also inform Wilson that Galladay's attitude and effort haven't been questioned, but that his ability simply does not fit what the Giants are trying to do. Right? And he came with the team. They could not let him go this year. They can let him go after this year. Right? Under new coach Daboll and general manager Shane, they simply are trying to play the players that they feel give them the best chance to win right now. And their actions speak volume about Kenny Golladay. They don't think he can help them right now, hence why he isn't playing more. It's a bad contract, and they inherited Kenny, a league source said. Brian and Joe aren't going to just play a guy because he makes a lot of money. He's not their guy. They're playing their guys. It is what it is. Right. Let's see here. And it says, I haven't heard anything bad about his attitude, a source said. It sounds like it's a football decision only, nothing personal. The receivers, not just Golladay, have underperformed so far this season. Yep. It's something even Sterling Shepard has acknowledged. We have to do better on pre-snap, Shepard told reporters this week. Guys have to know where to go. Too many times, that myself included, I was going the wrong way. But see, it's also, you're going to have to give the Giants a little bit of time, too. It's tough for them to pick up a new system and all, and week 1 to go out there and they're putting up, 52 points. It's going to take time. Hopefully, once we get to maybe around mid-season, week 6, 7, 8, whatever, you'll start seeing things, hopefully maybe start to gel a little bit more. Because I've seen so many times this week, past week included, that, there was a couple of times where the guys were wide open and Daniel Jones just didn't throw the ball to him. He guess he was not looking in their direction. He was maybe just focusing on one guy. He didn't pan the field. There's a couple of times guys were wide open. We could have scored touchdowns, and he just didn't throw the ball to him. So, he's writing his resume, okay? And if things don't start picking up, once we get to the midway point or something, you can certainly see giving him a mulligan or so. Once again, it's a new system. He's learning it. Right. His pass blocking's not been very good, so it's kind of tough to give him a total mulligan on missing some guys that, not panning the field and seeing guys that are wide open, possibly that could score a touchdown. But if we start getting in halfway through the season's over with and he's still doing kind of the same thing, it's really not looking very, very good for him. I think that they might have to go out and get their own guy, right? Because there's been guys open, especially against the Panthers. There was a couple of times the guys, one time was, I think it was just before we scored our second field goal, right? After Adoree Jackson recovered the fumble, right? The Giants moved down inside like around the 10-yard line or so. I think it was Sterling Shepard was in the corner of the end zone, like wide open. Daniel Jones didn't throw the ball to him. And there was another time, and then Kadarius Toney was open, like in the middle of the field, could have scored a touchdown, didn't throw the ball to him. I mean, just that's got to change. That has got to change without question. Okay, without question. All right, then we got. The Giants don't have much cap space and would likely have to create some in order to sign a free agent wide receiver. However, there are some intriguing options out there, such as Will Fuller, who gets injured, Antonio Brown. I'll tell you what, if they sign it, I mean, I would be shocked if they sign Antonio Brown. The guy's an absolute nutcase. That's not somebody you want to be bringing into your organization. I don't care how good the guy is. Absolutely not. T.Y. Hilton and Mohamed Sanu. Oh, yeah, there's also some guy out there named Odell Beckham who will be healthy later on this season, which is true. And there's also a thing talking about, why, maybe, Odell Beckham wouldn't want to, wouldn't reunite the money. The Giants just have $5 million in cap space right now. Over the cap. It says over the cap. Does anyone think Beckham is playing for a contract at the near minimum? I don't. However, last year, let's not forget what he played for when he was with the Rams. I mean, it wasn't much. It wasn't much money at all last year with the Rams. Okay. The Giants are building, and that's another thing. Do you want to bring him in for 1 year? I mean, is that something you're gonna see giving him a contract? A long-term contract or anything like that? Or is it just going to be like one and done? He's 29 years old. Okay. You're going to want to bring him in just for 1 year, maybe sign him for 2 years. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's signing for like not much this year. What are you going to pay him next year? Right. I mean, is that something the Giants want to bring in there? Right. And the same thing, culture they got here in this article. Right. This is not a knock on Beckham. This is just acknowledge it. It's New York. Beckham is Beckham. And because of those two things, he would be bringing a media-driven circus to the Giants locker room, which is true. As they try to build something sustainable. Why would Joe Schoen hand that to his first-year coach? I don't believe he would. But, it is what I also talk about. Cole Beasley just signed with Tampa Bay. So now Tom Brady's going to have a new little toy to play with. Right. But I mean, as far as with Beckham, I'll tell you what, boy, the first time he comes running out of that tunnel with the New York Giants jersey on, I mean, he'd have to get his number 13 back. But him coming out of the tunnel, first time, I mean, the place would be going freaking bananas, absolutely freaking bananas. Can the guy help the Giants? Absolutely. Get him on the field, get some plays for him, and each week give him a few more plays or, on the field and all that and everything. If he can stay healthy, sure, absolutely can help the Giants. And it's something that they're looking for. He can, back in the day, his first year or so, he could go deep. Eli's just launching the ball down deep. He can go out there and catch the ball and take it all the way to the house. Well, he's also good underneath. Good hands. He's got the quick moves. He can get open, right? Maybe not as well as he used to because all the injuries is sustaining. But, he can get open. He's a guy that they're looking for. Get open, get the ball in his hands, let him do a little wiggling, whatever, maybe pick up a few extra yards, and we'll go on from there. But that's exactly what the Giants are looking for. Now, as I said, it's the money thing. The Giants can clear up some money if they wanted to, if that's what they think. Right. I mean, I think that's one of their weaker points right now to say. I mean, especially with Kadarius Toney getting hurt all the time. Darius Slayton seems not to be playing too much. Kenny Galladay's not in the lineup at all. I mean, I think Odell Beckham, might be an answer. It just he might be one and done, right? So wait and see. But I'll tell you what. If he signs with the Giants, the first time he comes running out of that tunnel at Giant Stadium, the place will be going freaking crazy. I still think he can help the Giants out. It'd have to be a small amount of money, but he's been in contact with the Giants as well too. So we'll have to wait and see. Now I don't know exactly how long it'll be because he's still recovering. So he may not be ready, till maybe the second half of the season. Who knows? I know he's working out and he's trying to come back and everything. So, but anything's possible. I mean, if we get to the second half of the season, the Giants are right in there as far as Giants got an easy schedule. Giants are in there as far as the playoff hunt. The Giants just need maybe a little something extra, a little extra juice on the offense. He might be the man, right? Can he stay healthy for the final 6, 7, 8 games? Yeah, So very, very interesting. Very interesting to see. Very interesting story to follow. But yeah, right now it'll be interesting to see Dallas Cowboys Monday night, who the Giants are going to have in there at wide receiver. Do they think it's going to be Kenny Golladay? We'll have to wait and see. But Kenny Golladay was not the answer against Carolina, that's for sure. Well, it's been 36 minutes, guys. Anybody at all spend any time listen to this, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Or anybody spends any time at all watching the replay of this. Once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys absolutely freaking rock. And as always, guys, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants.